Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the first live stream of the year. My name is Opeyemi Shokunbi. I'm excited to be here this year with everyone. Happy New Year to every one of you. I'm excited about 2026. I'm sure it's going to be a great one. All right, welcome to 2026. How's the year coming along? Apparently today I'd wanted to speak about how to build a system around our goals, but somehow I just felt excited to speak about grief. So next week we'll look around that. Goals are good, but what are the systems you need to put around it? And that's what I would really want to focus on so that you can lock down those goals and ensure you have accountability, ensure you have result, ensure you have something that is helping you to keep everything running properly and not just having goals that at the end of the year you are not achieving or you are not optimally leveraging to help you become better at all the things you are doing. So thank you for joining once again. I'm excited to be here. In fact, I don't know how to put it. I felt a bit tired, but something tells me that, hey, you're talking about grit, so you have to show up. And this is really, really critical and important. You need to show up, even sometimes you are 60% energy level like I am today. Sometimes you are 40%, sometimes you are 20%. You have to show up. Showing up, is really, really more or less like the seed, you have to plant. And when that seed goes in, it's buried, you don't know what happens. So if you don't show up, that day of not showing up might be the real day that the real deal is about to go down, the real deal about to happen, and then you might end up missing that opportunity. So thank you for joining me. I'm Opeyemi Shokunbi, CTO and co-founder at Press One Africa, where we help enterprises scale their voice, their messaging, and their customer-facing engagement and interaction. And also, thankfully, we help you introduce AI into all that you do. So if you have any challenge around voice messaging or integrating AI or even basic AI strategy, please reach out. We'll be happy to be of help. Awesome. So today, our conversation is around grief. One of the things that I have said, just introduction is I spoke about my energy level and how we need to be really intentional when we don't have that hype and we need to show up. Now, the first question I love to say is that I'd love you to drop a comment, if you've ever had to show up when you didn't feel like it, what was the circumstances and what was the outcome? Over 15 years ago, these experiences happened in one of the best places I've ever worked, which is Next in Nigeria. Yes, not all the experiences are great, but the environment, the organization, great people, love the organization. But again, you have met interesting people along your path and along life. To dive into it, I started my career like some of you would have followed me in 2009 at Nestle March. From the head office, after a period of onboarding, I moved to biggest factory in Central West Africa, located in the industrial town or city called Agbara. So I moved to Agbara as the ID coordinator, and it was a huge environment. It was like an environment that could swallow a young trainee or a young computer scientist coming into the workplace and the work culture. Huge factory, big factory, with loads of experienced people. I mean, that was the first time in my life that I realized that there are people that they may not be vast at so many things. They may not know the current affairs, but when it comes to their job, that's their job. They were expert at it, and it was lovely. It was nice. So I met some of these people. Some were good. Some were, I don't want to say uncouth, but some weren't polished. So the way you will hear people speak to you differ across, the strata in the organization. There were the skilled, the unskilled, the senior, the junior, the management staff. They were all cadres and different level of people. So in interacting with these people, definitely there were all sort of things that would happen. But focusing back on myself, I realized that for the first 5 years, approximately 5 years of my career, from 2009 to 2013, there was no promotion. I mean, there were times that I had what we call 3-3, which is the highest rating, performance evaluation rating that any employee could get. I had it back to back to back, but there was no promotion. And this was getting at me. In fact, there were instances where, and I can remember clearly and vividly, where in the middle of the night, around 12, a.m.ish, the work van, security escort, like police van, follows to pick me up from home to visit the factory, the distribution centers, and to resolve IT issues that are critical and would affect operation. And I often hear management directors call me directly. Sometimes the business is so let me say intense that you want to get results and you don't want to rely on the line manager of the responsible. So you go down to that person, no matter how senior you are. And I have this kind of conversation from time to time. And you hear some senior executives say things like, "We heard you are the only one that can do it." Or for truth, I would say not absolutely 100% correct. But if they had said, "I am the only available person at that point in time that can get the job done," then 100% I agree. Because obviously my other colleagues would not really be available. Difficult to reach, some of them. These are also some at some point in time, young, married, with children. You just don't want to call those, colleagues at this point in time. It would be insensitive, sort of, at that time. I don't know about now, but back then you'd be seen as insensitive. So you could really call me, young man, odd, single, available at almost every point in time. So I'll be reached, I'll be called 12 a.m. I will visit the site, sometimes working 6, 7, 8 hours, non-sleeping, which is not part of my schedule, because my contract basically most times, or not even most times, the nature or the structure of the IT team was business hour, which is 8 to 5. Almost every other thing is then supported remotely, or you wait till the business, day, which if it happens, say Friday, you wait till Monday, depending on the criticality. But in this case, there are some emergencies that come up like that, and I will always show up. Now, guess what? After a while, despite the fact that I did not get promotion, I was very visible. I was known, seen, respected, loved by senior leaders. And the top IT management also took notice. And this earned me a similitude of expectation. We call it, the business call it mission, where I got an opportunity to work at our Central West African Region headquarters in Accra for a period of 1 year. So I lived in Accra for 1 year, and then, every 6 weeks, I'm able to travel down home, or my spouse will travel to, visit me. And this was a changing, turning point in my career. Because at this point in time, the quality of the leaders I interacted with changed. I started interacting with the senior leaders. I started going to countries to resolve issue, because I transitioned from an IT coordinator to an IT specialist. So I started traveling to several places. I tried also exploring the land borders. So I covered quite some, geography. This was really impactful because it helped me understand the culture of the Central African region. And today, if I were to do business or I'm to do business in those regions, it's a little bit different from how it would be naturally, because I got to understand the people, understand the culture, understand the behavior, understand the pattern, understand how we respond to things different. Despite the fact that I went on this mission, the promotion that I was looking for still eluded me. Guess what? I did not give up. And I think that, this is where tomorrow I'll be sharing something about consistency. I will do a post, not a live session. And that's to explain further what next after grades. And today also, I would like to unravel the bit where you might want to assume that because you are gritty, you had the staying power, you pursued your objective, you pursued your goal, you stayed at things, it must always end positively. I will, speak a bit about that as we go on. All right. So if I'm to ask you a direct question, what do you think grit is? Drop your definition of grit in the comments. It could be one word, it could be one sentence. What's grit to you? Now, some people think that grit is about toughness, being hard, never breaking. I don't think that's what grit speaks to. And, let me know if you think I'm wrong. Now, in this perspective and these circumstances, I'll be looking at grit from the angle of passion and perseverance towards long-term goals. And this is dangerous on the path that whether there is progress visible or progress non-visible, grit is still there. Grit says, I've got to put the passion, I've got to put the perseverance, and it has to be towards a long-term goal. It's not something that I do, I say, no, I don't enjoy this, I drop, I move to something else. No, you are going to stay there. And then quickly, let's break it down. What's passion? What's perseverance? What's long-term? And what's that visible, elusive, or invisible progress? Now, passion is what you care about. And it goes further that when you care about where you are going with respect to what you care about, then it makes the passion, much more intense. Perseverance means you keep moving even when you can't see the next step. You just don't have a clue of what's going to happen next. You don't have an idea of how things can go, whether it's going to be positive, negative. Perseverance says you keep moving. That's perseverance. Long term says that you are playing the game that is like marathon. I wouldn't say infinite, but I would say something that is a long one. Compare a marathon to sprint. Compare a marathon to a 100-meter dash. Long term is not 100-meter dash. Long term is cross country. Long term is 1,000. No, it's 10,000 kilometer. It's marathon. And then we talk about the invisible, progress. This is the killer. This is the killer in the sense that what is progress? And this is a dangerous definition where sometimes you look on the other side and compare other people to yourself, your colleagues, your spouses, your brothers, your friends, whoever. And this is the danger. Progress is happening to every one of us, whether we can see it or not. Progress is happening. Immediately an effort or a seed is sown, progress is happening. In those 5 years plus I spoke to you about, I thought nothing was happening, in the sense that I was just doing my job, showing up time to time, having, senior leaders acknowledging, talking about things that I'm doing. I could remember when I got married, one of the factory managers back then gave me the gift months, bought my wedding gift and gave me months before the actual wedding date. I was loved, but it seems like everything was external. My stakeholders loved me, my customers loved me, My fellow colleagues loved me, but in the IT team, internally, it wasn't like I was seeing anything. Yes, the promises are coming, the words are being spoken, you see nice emails written, but that does not translate to it. So, if you look at it retrospectively, you might think that I was not making progress. Albeit, people were watching, things were happening behind the scenes that I did not know about. And this is where I would love to simply state, if you're not an IT person, don't get confused, but some of the next things, or one of the few things I would say, might be IT related. Now, every outage I fixed at midnight, was building my reputation. Every project I delivered with excellence was building my skill. Every time I said yes when others said no was building my character. I just couldn't see it yet. It wasn't just in plain sight for me to pick and say, hey, Okpe, you are making progress. No, it was difficult because I had the promotion that was elusive. All right. Now think about a season in your life where you felt stuck. And I'd love you to comment one word that describes how that season felt. What I think you need to do now is you need to pause and think deeply. Think deeply in the sense that, were you frustrated? Did you come up as hopeless? Was it exhausting? What exactly was the feeling when you felt stuck? Comment one word that describes how that season felt. All right, so the next thing I love us to speak about is think about a season in your life where you felt stuck. Comment one word that describes how that season felt. I think the word for me, I would say I was frustrated. Frustrated is that one word. Yes, frustrated. Because I could see other people in other departments that were getting promotion. I could see other people. It was obvious. Memos were flying. I was reading emails. But on my own side, I wasn't really feeling it. So maybe I would say frustrated. So if you watch this later on, not now, please drop that word that you are able to connect with at that particular season that you felt stuck. I'd love to say that there are different phases when it comes to grief. One of the things I'd love to say is I would love to ensure we make this interactive and real life lessons so that it's not too much of 3 steps to developing grit, 5 steps to making yourself grittier. No. That's not this kind of conversation. This is a real life scenario that we will need to break down and apply to ourselves and think deeply as to how we can leverage on grief to help us do better and stay on the journey of life, and to ensure we crush all those exciting goals and interesting goals we have planned and booked for the year 2026. All right, so in my journey, I discovered that it can be split into different phases, but I would split it into 3 phases. And I have come to see that most people quit in phase 2. And I'd love to show you quickly. The first phase in the grief, or the 3 phases of grief, is the enthusiasm phase. This is where you start. You are excited, you are motivated, you are all in. For me, that was, like the first 2 years while I got to Nestle, it was a new job. I moved from my home. That was the first time I learned about a city called Agbara. I've never heard of Agbara before in my life. So it was exciting. I moved to Agbara. I had critical life decisions to make. For example, at that point in time, Agbara, my parents' place, was at Isolo. So Agbara to Isolo, the roads were good. There were not so much traffic. I think population was less. 2009, I don't know how, but population was less. So back then, I could commute from Isolo to Agbara in less than 1 hour. And my two to Agbara route was terrible and bad. So I would use the Isolo to Ikotun to Ijegun to Agbara. If I can leave very early in the house, say leave around 5:30, I can even get to join the staff bus in some area like Igondo. Yes. think yes, at Igondo I could join the SAPBOS back then. So the first major decision I had was a critical life decision of rent an apartment or buy a car. I have never driven a car. I've never loved driving cars. I was, not on the side of, buying things that could really, really, really get me, engrossed or indulge in things I don't want to indulge in. So it was difficult, but I had to decide because Isolo to Agbara going every day was not easy. Commuting through public means was not easy. So I got a very good offer. I think it was a Maxima or one other nice car like that, So I got an offer to buy the car. I can't remember. I think it was 500k or 600k. And then the offer to rent a one-bedroom apartment for around 100k also. So which one should I go for? It wasn't, today you might think it's just a very plain, easy decision. But as a young person growing independent, not relying so much on people back then to decide or to even know how to navigate it, was a very interesting decision to make. Guess what I went for? I mean, let me keep that in the loop. Guess what I went for, and then I can tell you and the reason why I went for it if anyone attempts it. All right. So in the enthusiasm phase, grit is easy because you are riding in the wave of novelty. Things are new around you. There are excitement happening here and there. So naturally, you're just excited. All right. So the next question is, where in your life are you in phase one right now? Meaning that in what part of your life is phase one of grit involved now? Is it a new business, new project, new goal, just got married, you just got into a new relationship? Drop in the comments. All right, so where in your life are you in phase one right now? Are you starting a new business, new project, new goal, newlywed, new relationship? And it can be none. I think I would naturally say for everyone right now, it's a new year. So we are in a phase, in that phase of enthusiasm, obviously, for almost everyone. So depending on you, but I want to focus, on the part of your life. All right, phase two is the endurance phase. And remember, I said that phase two is where most people quit. Phase two is where most people quit. All right, so phase two speak about the endurance phase. I can understand why most people, quit at this phase. And the reason is very, very surreal. The excitement is gone. Progress has stalled. You are putting in the work, but not seeing enough results. And I can relate my year 3 to year 5 at Nestle to be at this phase because I was doing a lot of work. I was, greedy about it. And the promotions were fantastic. The performance evaluation were fantastic. Highest 3 promotion. Working harder than almost anyone in my team, without comparing, but looking at how much I feel that I put in, sometimes staying back beyond the working hour, sometimes coming in the weekend for maintenance and for other activities. The midnight calls were coming in, but I was still stuck in the same valley, in the same road rather. Now this can be like you are descending down a valley. This can be like you are in the wilderness. But I love you to liken it to the waiting room. And this is where it is difficult, and this is where I will say that most people quit. Most people quit because it's a valley, it is lonely, it is dark, it's like a wilderness. You are just seeing like massive lands ahead of you. No structure, no building, nothing. And this I would liken to the waiting room. Now, most people quit, and I think one of the things is that if it is this hard and I'm not seeing the result, maybe it's not meant for me. I think this is one of the assumptions I will come up with why people quit. If I'm doing all these things that I'm doing and I'm not seeing the results that I should see, maybe I chose the wrong path. Maybe this is not meant for me. Maybe this is not meant to be. And this happens in almost every strata of life, whether it's in our professional life of work, our relationship with people, in homes, marriages, in partnerships with people, business ventures. It happens in every strata, every phase of life. And I would love to say that this is a lie that kills dream. Maybe it's not meant for me. This is the lie that kills most dreams. Because most times it then becomes a pattern for some people where almost everything they go into after a period of time, they quit. They go into something else after a period of time, they quit. What then will be meant for you? Let me acknowledge you, even if you are doing this after this live broadcast. Let me acknowledge you that as much as possible, you are in what I would call a waiting room. And if you can stay a bit more in this phase, you are about to go to phase 3. Phase 3 is the breakthrough phase. The phase where, folks will say, God has done it finally. This is where everything changes. And for me, this started from the mission opportunity that I had when I went to the Central West African region as IT specialist. From that role, the following year, I had my first promotion. And I'd love to stop there. But I think, yes, to double down, I had the first promotion the following year. The next year, I had the announcement into IT management role. I had the announcement into that role. And I was confirmed on that role subsequent months down the line, 5 to 6 months down the line, which typifies a double promotion at that time. I mean, I don't know about, now. Here's what I'd love you to really take time to understand. The breakthrough didn't come instead of the grind. The breakthrough came because of the grind. Please get it clearly. It's not as if I stopped grinding, then breakthrough came. No, the two were joined together, and the grinding, the non-giving up, the persistence, the endurance towards that difficult phase of my career and my life was what helped to facilitate the breakthrough. Those 5 years plus weren't wasted. They were the foundation. And when that opportunity came, I wasn't just ready, I was over prepared. And this is where I'd love to reiterate again. The 3 phases. Phase 1, excitement. Everyone experiences. Phase 2, endurance, where champions are made. Phase 3 is the breakthrough. And this is reserved for those who stayed in phase 2. So the question would be, which phase are you right now? And the next session is not a framework, but like a toolkit that will be relevant to help you as you navigate this great experience, or you navigate this endurance, / the breakthrough season of your life, career, and how you love to apply grades. I believe we understand the phases like we described. In the comments, I've asked us about it. How do you actually do grades when you are exhausted, when you are discouraged, and when you are running on 60% like I am today? How do you actually then, put grades into use? I'd love to give some, steps, practical strategies that can help you. The first one is reframe the narrative. Stop saying nothing is happening. start saying something is being built that I can't see yet. Something is being built that I can't see yet. Now, this shift shaped my own perspective and my own experience. Every time I wanted to quit, guess what? I looked for jobs, but I didn't see. In fact, I could remember one of the funny experiences of job search that I had. I'll not mention the company. When I went for the job interview as an IT server admin or something, after I was done with the interview, the panelists, three elderly people in the panelists were asking me that why will you leave Nestle and come to us? That are you sure you know what you are doing? Oh my, the panelists were counseling me to say, my young man, stay where you are, don't come here. So stop saying nothing is happening yet. Start saying something is being built that I can't see yet. Now, this, I believe, shifted and, saved my own perspective. Every time I wanted to quit, I would tell myself that something is happening here. Something is happening here. And, my character is being forged. My opportunity is being prepared. Number 2, celebrate micro wins. Now, in phase 2, you won't have big wins. So celebrate the small one. For example, in my own circumstances, I fixed an outage. Yes, I should celebrate it. I got a positive feedback from a leader, a management staff, a stakeholder, a customer. It's a win. I should celebrate it. In fact, that I showed up and you showed up today is a win. So don't wait for the promotion to celebrate. Celebrate the showing up. Celebrate the small things that looks like nothing is happening. Number 3, for the tools, build an evidence journal. This is critical. Every week, write down one thing you did well, one challenge. Next, write one challenge you overcame. And lastly, one reason you are proud of yourself. Build an evidence journal. When you are in the valley, you will forget your wins. The journal reminds you. The journals remind you, and it helps to build your hopefulness. Number 4, anchor to your why. Anchor to your why. Why are you doing this? What is the vision behind the grind? Some people will say, oh, I'm doing this to take care of my family. Yes, it looks like something small, but it's something. So what is your why? Oh, I want to have influence amidst young people, and I want to prove that you need to earn your living legitimately, and it is possible to succeed through that path. If that's your why, keep at it. Then what's the vision beyond the grind? Beyond that 8 to 5 that you are doing, what is the vision? What is the vision beyond the grind? Now, back then for me, it was that I wanted to become an IT leader who builds systems and develops people. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but I was very clear to say that I never wanted to reciprocate the idea of, oh, it has to be a so number of time before you become promoted, before you become a manager, before you have a particular performance rating. No. All those cultures were dead as soon as I became that leader that I wanted to be. And at that point in time, one of my why was I wanted to be a leader that would change the narrative, build a system, build a reputation of the IT organization, and then develop people. That developing people was the most critical for me. And that's why it kept me anchored when the how felt impossible. And I think just quickly, let's interact again. The question I'll be asking now is that, what's your why? Why are you grinding? Why are you pushing? Drop it in the comments. let's encourage each other. This is not to, say anything otherwise, but this is really pretty much anchored on ensuring that we encourage each other and we build a community out of this conversation. Not that it ends here. Don't let it end here. Let's build a community out of this conversation. Let's ensure that someone else is going to come here in some few days, few months, and the person can see that, oh, there are other people that are going through the same thing I'm going through, and they are thriving, they are doing well. So drop it in the comment. What's your why, and why are you grinding? Why are you pushing? I believe that will help someone when that person comes here. All right. Thank you so much for everyone who has joined and who is still, patiently engaging on the conversation. If you drop anything in the comments, I'll read and I will acknowledge you. Thank you so much. And the last is what I mentioned that I love us to build, so that as much as other people can learn from it. And that's the fact that community is greater and important than isolation. Community is greater and important than isolation. You cannot greet alone. You need people who see you, believe in you, and remind you who you are when you forget. So in my case, I had friends, I had mentors, I had people who said things like, Okpe, your time is coming. Keep going. Don't give up. Okpe, what you are doing is really critical and is important. If you are not rewarded in Nestle, you would be rewarded elsewhere. I had people who kept on reminding me that this is not the end. And that's why we are here today. This community is for each other. And that's why I think that this year I'll be dropping a lot more of things in the comment section, and I'll be asking us to interact more so that as much as possible we will build community and we will be able to have people to engage or people to interact with in the course of the narrative and in the part of life. So the question is, who is in your life, or who in your life is your great partner? If you have any, whether it's a great partner, accountability partner, whatever kind of partner that you have, tag them in the comments if they are on LinkedIn. So who is your great partner, any form of other partner you want to speak about, tag that person. All right, my great partner as of today is my co-founder, Mayowa Okigbenle. So I'll tag him, you'll see it. I know you'll be laughing or smiling. That's my great partner as of today, and I have several others, people also who are not just great partners, but who were encouragers, who were praying, who were supporting in every dimension and in every way. All right. If I tag everybody, LinkedIn will be buzzing throughout the day. I love to give an invitation to you, and then close with a great commitment. Now, we are coming to the end of this session, but I don't want to leave you without a challenge. Grit isn't a personality trait. It's not something anyone brought from heaven, or it's a choice. You choose it every single day. For example, today I chose to speak to you and show up here despite having about 60% energy. I was asking myself, should I not? In fact, my sound engineer would bear me witness. I was like, should I not? What should I really do? But yeah, I am. Now, every day of our life, today, tomorrow, you will face moments where you have to choose. Do I keep going or do I stop? Do I keep going or do I stop? And I want to invite you if possible, I want to beg you to choose to keep going. Keep going. In fact, if I can put it on repeat 1 million times, I would do it. Keep going. If I can make a soundtrack out of it, keep going. If I can, shout at the top of the roof, shout to whatever extent, keep going. Don't stop, don't give up. Don't stop, don't give up. Because here is what I know from my own story and experience. Your 5 years plus, or my 5 years plus, led me to my biggest breakthrough in terms of my career. And your valley might be preparing you for your mountaintop experience. Your delay might be protecting you until you are ready for what's coming. So don't feel like, oh no, things are not happening to me. I will speak about it some other time. There was this year on LinkedIn that it was everyone that was getting promoted apart from me. Opeyemi Shokunbi was the only person that was not promoted on LinkedIn. Oh, congratulations, I've just been promoted. Congratulations, I've just been promoted. Congratulations, I've just. It was as if my mind wanted to deal with me. I don't want to add Satan to this issue, so let's leave Satan by this. It was as if my mind was dealing with me, and psychologically, I was almost being pressed down. That everywhere I go on LinkedIn, anywhere I turn, anything I see, it is congratulations, I've just been promoted. Congratulations, I've just been promoted. Let me know and state clearly. I may be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but let me state clearly that you see these people that have been promoted, or these people that have been updated on LinkedIn, some of them is a different title, same job grade. Different title, same job grade. Some of them, even the salary you are on now that you are thinking is small, some of them, when they triple their salary, they are not earning what you are on. So you just don't know the circumstances and perspective of anyone. So what I've learned is I will rejoice with anyone. So when I see those things at work, I will go to the person, congratulate the person, do a special email to the person. On LinkedIn, I'm going to, for some that I know, some that I can interact with, I'll put there congratulations. So I'm not angry, I'm not unhappy, I'm not sad, no. But it was as if psychologically there was a blow. I was being a punch that was coming on my head each time I see that. And I know what you are going through. That might be your experience right now. And that's why I want to leave you with this brief commitment. I want you to make a commitment right now to yourself. And if you are fine, happy, to share in the comment section, share. I'd love you to complete the sentence to say, in 2026, I will show grit by, for example, launching my business even though I'm scared, by staying in my role and excelling until the right door opens, by finishing the project I started 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Drop it in the comments. Make it public. Make it real. Say it as it is. And I can tell you one thing will happen. Few months back, or few months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, is this thing you are going to say, you will come back to it and publicly acknowledge that it has happened. Make it public, make it real. Say it confidently that in 2026, I will show great by doing ABC. Great is in doing. It's not in function of just assuming, or is in doing. And one of the things you need to understand is that in this phase 2, or if you are in phase 2, which is the endurance phase, you are not to reduce the quality of your input at work or in any area where you are seeing delay. Don't say, oh, because they've not promoted me, I'll start resuming late, or I'll start closing at a time that is not official. It's fine if you resume 8, close exactly 5. Perfect, because that's your contract. But don't say, oh, your resumption is 8, you start resuming 9. After all, they don't value me. Or your closing hour is 5, you start leaving 4:30. No. it's not great, man. You rather just stay there offering the same quality that you have been offering, or if you don't mind, you even take it up one notch. Boom, one notch better, one notch higher. And that's how I'd love to close today. I want to say, just like I've said earlier, if you are in phase 2 right now, you are tired, you are discouraged, you are wondering if it is worth it, I'm here to tell you, stay. Stay, 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 stay. You don't dare quit now. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Your opportunity is being prepared. Your story is being written. The phases that have been written is not a complete package. It's not a complete sentence. It's not a complete structure. There is something that is being written, and that is important to that story. Your breakthrough is just around the corner. I love to say that one day you are going to look back and say, thank God I did not give up. And most importantly, I'd love to thank you for being here today. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for choosing Grit. Thank you for joining me. Now, you go out there and keep pushing. Your moment is coming. I'd love you to drop fire in this session if it has fired it up, even at my 60% degree. All right, so we're going to end this session in 2 minutes time. But if you have any question to shoot or to ask, please throw it, even if it is off the conversation of Grit. Throw it, and I'll be more than happy to engage and to speak about them. I'm excited to have all the people that have joined. I think today's session, I had a lot of people joining. The peak was quite higher than what I've seen in recent times. And there are still people here with me now that I can see. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the engagement. I'll probably have been speaking to myself if you did not join. So next week, like I've mentioned earlier, I'll be speaking about how we build a system around our goals. You can set a goal in January, December, you just see yourself not achieving it. How do you build a system around your goals? I'll not deal too much on or delve too much on goal setting. I would probably just use about 10-15 minutes max and speak about goal setting. Yes, some people talk about SMART, some people talk about SMART x2, whatever it is you are used to. We use short time to speak about that. But my main focus would be on the system you then build around those goals to achieve those goals. Thank you for having me. Until next week, see you. Tomorrow also I'd love to share something about, a little phase on Grit/consistency. So watch out for that post on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm excited. I'm happy to, see us in the year 2026. Something tells me it's going to be a great year for all of us. I'm upbeat about it. I'm looking forward to it. And I trust that will be the experience of everyone that has made our time to join me on this live session. All right, till we meet again next week. Bye for now. I'm yours, Okoyemi Shokunbi, signing out.